This is the beginning of a massive move in Bitcoin. And I wouldn't expect any major retracements until then, and I don't expect for us to go anywhere below this support right here. This support right here, which actually represents our 600-day resistance, now that's being flipped into support. Does that make sense? Because we broke this 600-day resistance using this sideways price action consolidation, breaking through. Now that Bitcoin has broken through, let's go on the hourly time frame. If it did pull back, which I expect it to some degree, I would expect a pullback to around 53K at most. Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is February 27th, 2024, and I was wrong, and I'm so happy to say that I was wrong. And if you're not really sure what I'm talking about, you're going to find out. We're going to talk about what Bitcoin's doing and what we can expect from the rest of the cryptocurrency markets. If that interests you, then watch until the very end. Let's get right into it. Okay, so last video, very dramatic. Hey everyone, watch out. We're about to get a massive implosion. We're going to dump. It's going to be a long squeeze, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and I'm still looking out. Well, I was still looking out to retest these highs, okay, or these lows, if you will. The high of this right here, this 30K level, because we had gone and never retested it. Now, how is it that it's possible that 250 days of resistance broken never comes back as being retested? So this is what makes trading fun and complicated and difficult. It's because in the context, so I'm looking at this, I'm posing the question to myself, like, what the hell? It doesn't make any sense. Well, it does actually. First, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me tell you what I saw in determining my invalidation. So what made me say I was wrong, I'm not going to look short anymore. I'm not expecting Bitcoin to retrace majorly anymore. Okay, why did I say that? Well, because I told you that I'm seeing this as an A wave, an initial break of structure. If that's true, then this is a B wave. Now, in Elliott wave analysis, an A wave is only a B wave can only retrace the phi ratio length of the A wave. So right here was my invalidation, the phi ratio of this purported A wave. Do you see? I took the length of this A wave and then measured with the Fibonacci retracement. So inverse Fibonacci phi ratio gives me about 55K, and I've said that before on social media. In the comments, people ask, what's your invalidation? 55K was my invalidation, and 55K was when I saw, okay, when that was broken, this no longer can be an A wave. That means this, by definition, is an impulse. If this is an impulse, that means we're gone. Does that make sense? I hope everybody understands that. Like, I have no qualms about saying I'm wrong, and people need to, well, people don't need to do anything, but for those of you wondering, traders don't necessarily have to get everything right to be profitable, nor do they have to get everything right to be good. You have to have good trade plans and good well-defined invalidation requirements or invalidation scenarios where your trade plan no longer makes sense or is no longer valid. So when that happened, I knew I'm bullish. Not because somebody else said it, not because people on social media are excited, right? It's because I knew from the very beginning, if that breaks, then all bets are off. Now, given that, let's zoom back out. I saw this and I posed the question, well, what about this area that I was so convinced we were going to retrace upon because it's 250 days worth of resistance broken out, never retested as support? Doesn't make sense. Well, look at the context. You have a 600-day channel. What do we know about channels? Channels have three main aspects: a support, a resistance, and a midline. What do you know, and what do I always say about how you leave channels? Well, you leave channels once you go up and down in them by going finally to the resistance or the support, resistance in the case of a bullish channel. You check back on the midline, and what do you think we did right here? This right here was the retracement. That was sufficient, because all of this is what we should be looking at, not necessarily this. So this was the retracement to the midline, and here's the impulse resulting from that. All right. In addition, I knew that we were bullish because I said in the previous video, this is 600 days of resistance. You're probably going to hit your head on this and retrace. What did we do? We consolidated on it, below it, and popped out of it convincingly. All right. Furthermore, and this is the most convincing thing, and I don't know how many people are talking about this. If you look at Bitcoin on a really high time frame, go on the weekly time frame, and I have this chart of Bitcoin from the beginning, okay? Look at what Bitcoin has been doing since about 2013, okay? Since about 2013, we've been in this blue channel right here, okay? Mind you, in April, when was it? August of 2022, we dipped below the lower support of this channel, okay? And that is, some people are concerned, but those of us who study price action know sometimes that happens, and that's called a Wyckoff spring. It's normal, right? When a channel is broken to the downside just a bit, right? If it turns around, that's very bullish. That basically means it's a spring. You're basically waiting for the next move for it to go up and through the channel. So what do we have here? We have the spring that happened. That's basically all of our bear market accumulation. And now we're breaking back into the lower boundaries of the channel. So Bitcoin's not just breaking a 600-day resistance here. Bitcoin is breaking a, look at this, a 3,900-day resistance. Because the bottom of this channel right here is 3,900 days in the making when you broke down, and now you're breaking back up from it. So the next move, without really thinking, there is no resistance between where we're at right now and what? The midline of the channel. That's where you should expect the next significant sort of retracement. Two reasons, okay? And this is high time frame stuff, guys. I don't see many people talking about this in this way. Two reasons you should expect a retracement, a significant retracement, a significant pullback around, I would say, anywhere between 200 and 300. Let's just be generous. 200 and 300K. Okay, I know that's really, really broad, but we're on the weekly chart. One of the reasons you should expect that is, one, because it's the midline of this channel, okay? And remember, the midline is support when you're above it, resistance when you're below it. So we should expect some sort of resistance because we're below the midline of this channel. The second reason is there's this parabolic resistance that's been in play in Bitcoin ever since the beginning. As you can see right here, I charted Bitcoin since the beginning, from 2010. The price action follows this parabolic trend quite nicely. So this parabolic trend hits the price anywhere between 200 and 300. So you have the midline and that parabolic trend, which has to eventually be broken. That's our next main major boss of resistance. Okay, so anywhere between 200 and 300, I'd be looking for a major retracement in Bitcoin. But this is the beginning of a massive move in Bitcoin. And I wouldn't expect any major retracements until then, and I don't expect for us to go anywhere below this support right here. This support right here, which actually represents our 600-day resistance, now that's being flipped into support. Does that make sense? Because we broke this 600-day resistance using this sideways price action consolidation, breaking through. Now that Bitcoin has broken through, let's go on the hourly time frame. If it did pull back, which I expect it to some degree, I would expect a pullback to around 53K at most. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. I'm excited to have been wrong on that. Now, what are the implications for that in the altcoin space? First, let's look at our, okay, one second. Let's look at our Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance, if you look at it on a high time frame, is about to do what it's done twice before. Twice before. This is the first time, right here. This is the second time. Sorry, one second. I'm on the free version still, so let me close this. Let me close this, reload that. Okay, here we go. We're going to look at Bitcoin dominance. Let me open that back up. Apologies. Technical difficulties. Okay, so dominance, Bitcoin D. Back on the weekly, perfect. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance twice before has put in this right here. Let me erase that. Okay. Sorry, I'm a stickler for... Okay. Twice before has put in a major retracement from this resistance or this resistance level, this downsloping resistance. So boom, that's the first major altcoin season. That was an epic altcoin season. This was the second major altcoin season. So the first one was in April of 17. The second one was December of 20. This one is going to be, boom, right now. Because you're at this major resistance in the altcoin space that's been in place for the past 7 years. So every, it seems, 4 years, right? 4 or so years, we get this major altcoin season. And that is basically starting right now with a rejection from this resistance. So that is why basically you can expect altcoins to react in a major way to what Bitcoin is doing. And if you look more specifically at some altcoins like Ethereum, which I said before was probably going to retrace, also did what Bitcoin did, which is break a high time frame resistance. And here we go. I showed you. Ethereum was in an ascending wedge, and I said, oh, that ascending wedge is likely to come back here before breaking out. And I said the same thing that I said with Bitcoin. I'm looking for that phi ratio of my purported A wave to be respected. So this was my purported A wave. Obviously, the phi ratio was broken. That you can already eyeball is way more than 1618 of this. And so as a result, once that happened, I posted in my member section for my Buy Me a Coffee. And by the way, if you guys want to support the channel, like, share, and subscribe, consider buying me a coffee at the pinned comment below. I said ETH is bullish because that phi ratio was broken, so my bearish trade plan was invalidated. Okay, and so this is going to basically continue the breakout of this ascending wedge in that fashion. Okay, next major resistance is probably around 5K. So that's what I'm seeing for altcoins, and ETH is leading the way. Guys, this is all I have. I'm excited. I hope you guys are going to take advantage of these moves. I'm sure you will. If you've been in the space, if you watch this channel, you're keen, you're a good, careful investor, trader, and you've been paying attention. And let's make some money, and hopefully let's keep making money for the remainder of the bull market. Take care. Bye.
All is well.